Okay, welcome everybody to the GENINVEST podcast in the new studios, Gen Studios as well. Got to put that little plug in there. For anyone who's not obviously listened to our podcast, this is where we bring you inspiring, motivating, and empowering content to take your life to the next level. And on GENINVEST, we are focused around money, making money, managing money, and invest in money. Okay, so for anyone who's looking to make money, this is the podcast for you. Now, I wanted to bring something a little bit different in the new season of podcast. And, anyone who knows me, I love talking about properties. Love, Sue. Love.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Love properties. All right. But I thought, how much can I speak about properties myself every week? Okay. And people are like, I've heard that before. So I thought, what if I brought in different investors every week to talk about why they got into properties, what they're doing in properties, and the strategies they're following and things like that. And I thought, actually, first person that I should bring on, okay, is my good friend. We're like spars, and we're gonna be like business partners soon as well, which is really, it's really interesting things that we'll maybe tell you a little bit about later on in the show. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have like 8 standard questions, okay, that we're gonna ask all investors, okay, about property. So we're gonna get into this, and Sue, I want you to really tell us. Question number 1 is, tell us what you were doing before properties, though. So I think everybody thinks if you're in properties, you're a millionaire. You had loads of money, you were doing this, you were doing that.
Well, definitely didn't have loads of money.
Were you a millionaire?
Definitely not a millionaire.
Sue, man, like you got me, man. I thought you was a millionaire. Okay,
I wish I was a millionaire.
Yeah, so what was you doing before properties then?
So before properties, I had, and still have, a business.
Yeah.
That's a little bit outside of the box and deals with auto gas and LPG gas bottles.
Okay.
Caravans.
What made you get into that?
Because it was out of the box. I was being made redundant from where I worked.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Knew that I wasn't really employable because I wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
There was only one auto gas station in Birmingham. Lots of taxi drivers.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's just give it a go. There's a little bit of money to be made. When I found out everything I needed to do for it, and over 10 years I've built a £4 million turnover business.
Wow, check you out, girl. Hey. Okay, that's impressive. Okay, picking the numbers that I dealt with. All right, okay, I'm impressed. So was you an entrepreneur? Did you have entrepreneurial traits before that then?
I always knew I didn't want to work for somebody forever. And I always knew that I wanted to retire at 50. And I always knew that the only way that I could do that was by being different, I guess. Not wanting to work for somebody 9 till 5. Not wanting to put my hard work making that other person their money 100%. And giving them the lifestyle that I actually wanted. So the only way that you can do it is to get out there and do it yourself.
Yeah. And was the catalyst, because I know a lot of people who are probably listening to this who are looking to get into properties are probably entrepreneurial as well. They have that entrepreneurial trait. Very much what you said. I want to be my own boss. I want to be in control of my own destiny and things like that. But a lot of people are fearful of stepping out and doing anything different, whether that be running your own business, buying properties and things like that. So for you, was the push of the redundancy like that catalyst that gave you that?
Yeah, I think it was. Because I thought, I've got nothing to lose. I can either go and look for another job, and I'm going to be a bit scared for a couple of weeks because it's a new place, or I can do something for myself and be scared for 6 months.
Wow.
So there's no difference really. I might as well do it for myself now. The time's right. This is what's meant to happen. Yeah. This was my path to go down. So be scared for yourself for 6 months and not be scared for a couple of weeks going into a new business, into a new workplace.
Love that. Do you said something that's incredibly profound, and hopefully people, when they're listening to this, will be able to take notes as well, is that you said, if you start a new job, there is fear because you may fail.
Yeah, definitely.
So why not start a new business? And if it fails, hey, doesn't matter. But if it wins,
it's win-win all round, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Never seen that before.
Yeah.
Okay, you're dropping little nuggets. This is when I need that little sound thing that goes or something like that. So we're gonna say to the podcast guys, next time, can we get some like sounds and things like that? Do you know what I mean? So we could put onto the podcast. All right. So you started your business. You've been running it for 10 years. Okay. You had any success there. How many sites do you have?
So I've got 4 sites.
4 sites in Birmingham.
Yeah. Over the Midlands. So 2 in Birmingham, 1 in Warsaw, 1 in Wolves. So for 7 years, everything that was made within the company was reinvested into it to open new sites, to open the gas bottle side of the business, training, vehicles, everything, because you have to own everything yourself. You can't just find a gas bottle on the street and just think, oh, you know what, I'm going to take that home, I'm going to fill it up. Doesn't matter, I'll just make a bit of money. I
was thinking that one of the engineers was thinking about doing that. He's like, hold on, outside I saw some gas bottles. You know what I mean? So you can't do that.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
You have to. You have to own the bottles before you can fill them. So a lot of the money that we earned, so a lot of our profit for 7 years went back into the business.
Reinvested.
So everything was reinvested. So now we're at this point where we're still expanding quite rapidly. But we don't need as much of our profits to go back into the business because we've now got 4 sites which generate quite a healthy profit.
So why get into properties then? So like things are going well, you know, you got the business. What made you want to then?
It's hunger for something else.
Oh, okay. You're quite driven, aren't you?
I am very
driven.
I see
that in your eyes.
Yeah. So
if anyone listening on the audio, if you look into her eyes, she's very driven. Very driven.
I bought my first house at 20.
Wow.
I paid £42,000 for it.
£42,000
in 2001.
Was this in the Midlands?
It was in the Midlands. It was in Birmingham. It was in King's Standing.
Wow. Now you just to know, you cannot get a property for 42,000 in the Midlands. Okay. Now you can get it up north. You can get a property for 42,000 up north. You definitely can't get that in the Midlands. That's amazing.
Yeah. So we bought this property because I never wanted to rent. I'd seen my parents rent all their life, and I'm like, this ain't for me. I want a bit more. Came from the typical council estate. My dad worked. I'm like, I need more than this. I can't work for somebody forever. I want my own property, so I know that I'm not going to lose it. So found this house, bought this house. My marriage broke down. The house got sold, and when the house got sold, it was sold for £90,000. 3 years later.
Seriously? Oh my gosh.
So I bought it for £42,000 and it got sold for £90,000 3 years later.
45 grand profit.
And I'd done absolutely nothing to it. The house didn't even have central heating. Because central heating back at the beginning of, 2000, 2005 wasn't really a big thing. It was only when houses were just starting to get central heating. I didn't even have central heating in there. Then I'm like, you know what, you can make money this. I can do this. I can find a deal. I know how to look for a deal. I know how to look for a house that needs a bit of work doing on it. So I brought my next house and didn't really do anything. Met my partner, set up a business, the LPG gas, and all the profits went back into there. And 2-3 years ago, started to be able to take a dividends. Didn't really do much with it. Just left it in the bank. We didn't need anything. We were working all the time. We had our little holidays. We'd by this point moved house. And then because I started to get a little bit of time, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to go back the property side.
Back into properties,
I'm going to start looking at properties. And so I started looking at properties, thinking, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have my pension pot there. In my mind, knowing that there ain't going to be no government pension.
And I think that's a major one. Just on that note, like for anybody that if you're 40 and below, like there will be no pension.
Definitely not.
I was trying to think of the guy who's able to forecast the future. What's his name? Nostradamus? Is it Nostradamus? Something? I'm going to forecast you will have no pension if you're 40 and below by the time you get to 70. There is just no money in the system. So actually, just a question for anyone who's listening to this podcast. How will you take care of yourself after 70? If you don't have a solid pension now, the government cannot take care of you. And if you haven't been putting in decent amounts of money into your pension, where is the cash flow? So one of your drivers was, I need a pension.
Yeah, definitely.
Reality
I need a pension. Yeah, it is a reality check. And I know, look, you just said under 40s, they don't even think about it. I'm not 40 yet myself, but I'm thinking, 3 years ago, there ain't going to be no pension.
No pension,
I've worked all my life and I've got my own house. But how am I going to live?
So
then I'm like, you know, if I could get 10 houses in, 10 years.
10 houses.
Yeah, 10 houses.
I'm gonna do the noises for our sound engineer. She said 10 houses. Okay, right. So I'll do the sound production as well. So 10 houses. Why 10 houses?
Because in my mind's eye, thinking, well, 10 houses, around £100,000 each. Just you'd have a little portfolio of around £1 million.
Yeah.
That's not taking into consideration capital growth and then flipping over your mortgages from interest to repayment. Yeah. So then you would own some of the assets. Yeah. But I'm going to get decent money off 10 properties. If I make £400 per property now, what am I going to make in 20 years' time on them properties? And some of those, or the majority of those, actually won't have a mortgage. Yeah. So I've not got to worry about state pension. I've not got to worry about how am I going to live. I'm not going to have to worry about changing. It is, definitely. I'm not going to have to worry about changing my lifestyle because you get used to a certain way of life. Yeah.
And I think people say that, I hear people say that, and I think it's the worst way to live is say, do when I get old, I'm going to downsize. Like, I want to upsize. You know what I mean? I want to go first class if I can. You know what I mean? I don't want to go, I'm already in economy class. Well, I just don't fly now. I'm going Ryanair, okay? For anyone who's ever flown on a plane, do not fly Ryanair, okay? Food is terrible, the seats are terrible, and there's no TV. You know what I mean? There is no TV in the headrest. Okay, so I want to upgrade life. And I think a lot of people, instead of thinking, okay, as I get older, I want my life to get better, they're actually already talking about downsizing. Well, that's not the lifestyle that you want to...
But you work to upsize. So you wouldn't want to downsize. But that's my theory on things.
Work to upsize, not downsize.
Work to upsize and not downsize. Because you work to make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, and get better.
Yeah.
Right, and here's the thing as well, just a point I was just thinking about is that why, so many people now, what I'm hoping is that people will listen to this podcast and it will inspire them to go, actually, why am I not doing this? Like, I remember buying my first house and you bought yours for 40,000 3 years later, made 45 grand tax free because it was in your own name. I bought my first house probably about 20 years and I remember buying it for 72,000. I was like, oh my gosh, 70, that's a lot of money back then. That house now is worth about 180, 190,000. I put a kitchen in, but nothing that justifies almost 100 grand profit. You know what I mean? If you sell that house. So the reason I say that, is that people say, when should you start?
There is no right time to start. You make your mind up when you're ready to do it.
100%. When you started, it would have been a different year than when I started.
Definitely.
But you made money, I've made money, and whoever's listening to this, they can make money. So just get started. Get started in property. Get started. Okay, so you're building your portfolio now. You've got this, I want 10 properties, each giving about £100, something like that, you do say?
So I've got 3 buy-to-lets.
But your target was 10?
Yeah, so my target was 10 over 10 years. So that was 1 property a year that I was going to use my dividends from my business to buy a property. Yeah. No point in sitting in the bank earning 0.5% when I can put it into a property and that same money is going to bring me £400 profit after I've paid my interest-only mortgage, my insurance, and took into consideration your maintenance. Yeah. So I'm like, well, £400 better than 4p while it's in the bank.
100%.
So it was, get 10 properties over 10 years. So this was, on my board of, in the next 18 months, this is what I'm going to start doing. And then I found one house. And then I found another house. And then I found another house. And I'm like, oh, shit, man. 13 months in and I've got 3 houses, all brought on buy-to-let. But I've got no pot of money. What am I going to do?
How much is the cash flow on, I remember you showed me one of your properties. You get a HMO. And for anyone who's listening to this and goes, what's a HMO? Do you want to just describe what a HMO is?
So HMO is a house of multiple occupancy. Yeah. I don't own this house and I educated myself after my pot of money had disappeared on being creative and finding other ways to make money through property.
So hold on. Now people will be like, what? Hold on. You got a house that you don't own that you're making money on?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's start with the top figure first. So how much is that property cash flowing you?
So it cash flows £2,600 a month.
Right. So the £2,600 a month. How much profit are you making on that?
So I make £850.
£850 people. £850 Let me say that again for anyone who's not listening. £850 a month cash flow in your back pocket. And that's after bills, after all expenses and things like that.
Yeah, after bills, rent to the landlord, cleaner, maintenance.
Wow.
£850 off a house that I don't actually own and that I've got for 5 years.
Okay, so we're going to explain the strategy that you use to be able to get a house without a mortgage. Basically, you got this house without a mortgage, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't buy this house in a traditional sense, and you're getting £850.
Yeah.
Now, for a lot of people, £850, right, gives them the holiday in Cancun, gives them a nice car, okay, and you can still work, right? Because how much time does this take up?
It takes no time at all.
Okay, now I'm hating you now. Do you know everyone who's listening to this podcast is hating you? Right? So you put in how many hours a week? Okay, worst case scenario, or on average actually, let's say on average, how much hours per week are you working on this house? An hour? An hour. So you do 4 hours a week, a month?
A month, yeah.
For £800?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to do the maths on that. That's like...
That's £200.
£200 an hour.
Yeah.
That's not a bad rate.
No,
if you're not. Do you know, let's do some numbers. Like, you know, I failed at maths, okay? But if you're on £200 an hour as a full-time, if you were earning that, do you know you'd be on 400 grand a year? That's not bad, right?
Not bad at all.
Okay, all right. And this is a... Did you pass maths at school?
I didn't pass anything.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, so, okay, you're like me then. I failed at maths, but I can quickly do numbers. £800 is good cash flow. So tell us a little bit more about this strategy then, that you bought a house with no mortgage.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't buy the house. So I'd brought my 3 houses.
Yeah, but this house.
But this house, I then started to go to pin meets and a few property meetings. Started to self-educate, watch YouTube channel, Samuel Leeds, Sad Hussein, and I'm like, oh man, these people are actually getting people's houses and they're making money off somebody else's house. And I've just put £130,000 into 3 properties, and I'm gonna own them, and they're netting me, you know, I'm getting £1,100 after my mortgage payments have gone out and stuff like that. But you can earn like £500 minimum on a house that you don't own if it's a HMO. I'm like, can it really work? And then the more I started mixing with people that do this sort of thing, I'm like, it does really work. But then people around me were like, who's going to give you a house? You know, who's going to hand over their house to you for you to earn money off them? I'm like, it works, it works. And then
I would have been skeptical. If I didn't see it for myself, I'd have been skeptical. Like, why would somebody hand over their house? Because they could make that money themselves.
Yeah, they can, but then they don't want the hassle.
Yeah, so why, if I own a house that could make me £800 a month, why would I give it to you?
Because you don't want the hassle. You don't want no hassle. So I am going to give you every month your rental amount. Yeah. So we come to an agreement on how much the rent's going to be over a 3 or 5 year lease. Yeah. So you lease the property from the landlord for 3 or 5 years.
So like a car?
A bit like a car. But you're making money on this house. You're losing money on that car, aren't you?
Oh, this is crazy. Okay. You're starting to break down some nuggets right now. So a lot of people drive around. You see them. I see them outside my office and they're driving these flash cars. Boom, 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 boom. And it's on lease, which is fine. So my car's on lease too, right? So you don't own that car. You're just saying to the car company, I'll take this car, but you'll make no money on it. You'll actually lose money. But you're taking the same principle, the lease option, okay? Saying, I will take over your property, pay you a monthly amount, and what I do with it after that is up to me. Is that right?
That's exactly right, yeah.
You're a genius, girl.
So it's broke down into a HMO. Yeah. I was very, very lucky. Yeah. So I had some training on how to, you know, find your gold mine areas, how to approach landlords, who to speak to. So I've done my training, worked out some, you know, rough figures. Yeah. Started phoning round. I'd already booked an appointment to speak to this guy about his portfolio. When on the day of my training, we'd done some live phone calls and things. Phoned up this letting agent, and I'm like, I've just seen this property at blah blah blah, and he's like, oh yeah, the guy's this. This is the guy's name, and I'm like, oh, I've already got a phone call booked in with him. So then I put the phone down. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till Friday. I need to find some more information out about this. So I then phoned the guy and I'm like, right, I've just spoke to the letting agents.
Yeah.
This is the situation. I've got a call booked in with you, but I actually want to know more about it now.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, then, so this is the situation. I have a portfolio. I am selling it all off because I've got another business and I can't divide my time between two. There's various different properties.
Yeah.
So I then went and had a face-to-face meeting with him. And in the meantime, I'd looked at other properties and sat down and I'd worked out, you have to know your room sizes, you have to make sure everything falls within regulations. So you can take a house that's not a HMO and convert it. So if you find a 4-bed, 2-reception room property, you can make it into a 6-bed HMO as long as the room sizes fall within the regulations.
Yeah.
But this guy had got a whole portfolio already HMO ready.
Oh man.
So I'd
Jackpot.
worked out, definitely jackpot, it was ka-ching.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Get that sound on there, please.
Yeah, I'd
engineer.
worked out how much it would cost to convert a 4-bed into a 6-bed HMO.
Yeah.
And it works out to about £8,000 with your fire doors, your smoke alarms, your lighting. I've got 2 properties for like £11,000 off this guy. There were some voids.
Yeah.
So they were already up and running.
Some rooms not rented out.
Some rooms wasn't rented out. I took them over the 1st of June.
Yeah.
We're now nearly the 1st of September. We've got 2 properties on a lease. Yeah. And they're all tenanted.
Perfect.
So now I make from the 2 properties about £1,700 a month off 2 properties that I don't own. And they're fully tenanted now.
So this is for anybody who's like, I don't have, I can't get a mortgage, I can't do this. There are ways to get into properties.
Yeah, there is definitely. Yeah, there is. And when people say, "Oh, then there's no money down deals, and you can get this," you do need money.
Yeah.
You can't take up. The landlord might give you a month free rent, and he might not take a deposit off you because you're going to improve his property. But where's your money going to come from to do that work to that property? You have to have something there. Even if you've not got the money in the bank and you use a credit card and stuff, you still got to pay that money back.
Yeah. I always say this to people, and this is why one of the reasons why we're doing in GENINVEST, we say, learn to manage your money, learn to earn money, which is what you did in your business, then learn to invest it. But people want to become investors before managing their money or learning how to earn money, because to invest means that you have money to invest. Yeah. But you don't need large sums of money to invest.
No, definitely not.
That HMO, I don't know, on the market, £200,000.
Oh, even more than that.
So let's say, 250, 300. Let's say 300,000. To buy that traditionally under 20% mortgage, you're talking about potentially £60,000 down. Yeah. Now you haven't had to do that.
And you've got your legals and
your
you've
legal
got,
costs. So you were able to get that for like 8,000, 7,000. So you still some money, but look, you've got your money back out. You'll be all square by month 6
for the 2 properties.
For the 2 properties,
yeah, month 6, both of them have paid for themselves.
And then it's just clear money in your back pocket, so it hasn't cost you anything then.
No. After month 6, that original money that I put in, I've got back.
Yeah. Exciting times.
Very exciting, yeah.
Now, I wanted to tell them about another strategy that you're doing, which is where you're almost like a hotel.
Oh, my SA?
Your SA, right. So what you've done, what this lady's done, which is an interesting one. This is something that I don't do. This is why I wanted to bring Sue on. Like, you've taken an apartment or a property, and you rent it out like a hotel. Yeah. So not to one person, different people. Yeah. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that and why you've done that. And that is an interesting strategy.
So I didn't really want to do SA. I just thought it was a bit of a pain in the backside.
What is SA? People
service accommodation.
Service accommodation, right.
So it was a bit of a pain in the backside. Didn't want to commit to something when I actually wanted to have my own time. That was the whole point of getting into property. Yeah. So you get some of your time back because you're earning, but you're not working 50, 60 hours a week. So this SA came up before the HMOs because in my mind it was always, I'm going to do a HMO. Yeah. That's what I'm going to go for. Awesome. This SA came up. Location was fantastic. Didn't source the property myself. A sourcer came to me with it and I'm like, I can't turn this down. It's going to make money, this is. So I took the property on 1st of May. Got it ready. Got it live. We're now September, near enough September again, and May, it didn't break even, but it's your first month.
First month, trial and error.
So it's trial and error. Second month, I had 68% occupancy, which covered all my bills, and I'm like, oh, this isn't bad. That was June. July, I had 79% occupancy, and August I had 100% occupancy.
Wow.
September, I've already got bookings in, and I think I'm up to about 52% occupancy.
Wow.
October's about 63% occupancy, and November I've got 7 nights booked already.
So what would let's say you've got 90 to 100% occupancy, how much profit would that make?
£1,000 a month.
£1,000 a month. Did you say that again?
£1,000
I stumbled over my words there, and I like number £1,000 a month. So basically, the principle that you've got, right, is that instead of renting it like traditionally to a family for a month on an AST, you say, actually, I'm going to treat it like a hotel. So because of like Airbnb, you say, actually, you can take my apartment for a day, 2 days, 3 days, or whatever, and use it as a hotel. And people prefer to have the whole apartment in a hotel room. And is it usually cheaper?
So it doesn't always work out cheaper.
Yeah, you get more.
But you do, because the client's getting more for their money. And I only do now a minimum of a 2-night stay. So you sort of miss the kids are not going to pay £130 a night for an apartment. So one, it rules out the partying. So they've got to book a minimum of a 2 night. So they've got to spend £260 before they've even brought their drinks and stuff. And the clientele's very different. It's right next to the mailbox. It does take a little bit of time. I have learnt my product, because I think it's very important that you learn what you're doing before you can sit and talk about it.
Well, I think anybody who doesn't want to learn about properties, when you can be earning from 3 properties that you don't own, these are 3 properties that you don't own, anything in the region per month, £2,500. I did £2,500 passive income.
So for the month of August, from 2 properties that I don't own, we've made pure profit, £2,800, and I have spent.
This is whilst running your own business.
Whilst running my own business, I've spent 4 hours there maximum over.
Man alive!
August.
If you are not interested at this point, you need shooting. Okay, like seriously, I'm just like, if this is not inspiring you to go, let me get some education. Okay, because the one thing I want to say is that you spend money on educating yourself.
Education is very, very, very important.
How to do contracts. How to find these type of deals.
And people will say to you, oh, use my contract, but your contract is, every landlord is different, so your contract's not going to work for the next landlord, because the clauses are going to be different. The property's going to be different. So how can you use somebody else's contracts?
And don't go cheap. Like,
no.
Look, there's a saying, don't look at the cost of the shovel whilst you're digging for gold. If you're going to worry about paying £100 for training or £200 for whatever fee, you may have even paid £1,000. Like I've spent thousands, like literally thousands, on educating myself, and I know that's why I'm confident to make money out there in the market, because I've invested in myself. But I think so many people go cheap on themselves and wonder why they're not making any money. So point number 1 is you can buy properties without owning them. But you must get educated.
Definitely.
You must get educated. All right, so look, you told us some like great stuff, and people are like, okay, that sounds all great, but where's the negative? All right, so what challenges have you faced being a property investor? Because it can't all be rosy.
It isn't rosy. But the return on it's good. And for 4 hours a month, when it is rosy,
it's worth it.
It is worth it, because the good outweighs the bad.
So what have been some of the challenges that you faced?
Some of the challenges on the buy-to-lets, we've done a couple of refurbs, and I'd completed on 2 houses the same day. And I got one with a sitting tenant in. One that I was refurbing, so I got paperwork to sort out for the new tenant, whilst trying to sort of refurb out, and I needed to do work on the property that I brought with a sitting tenant in, because the old landlord hadn't done stuff that wasn't up to my standard, because I feel that if I wouldn't live in it, why would I allow somebody else to live in it?
100%.
So there was the juggling of that, and this was like 2 months before Christmas, in the peak season for us with our
traditional business.
Because of gas bottles going out everywhere. So it was like some nights not going to bed till 1-2 o'clock in the morning, getting back up at 7 o'clock, taking children to school, going into work, chasing invoices up and that sort of thing.
It was a sacrifice.
You do sacrifice, and then with the the lease properties, I'd taken two HMOs on that wasn't fully tenanted, and I'm like, okay, I can run it, I can do a normal single let. This isn't gonna be that hard. But then you've got to think of, it's not a single family. You've got other housemates in there, and them housemates have to gel. It's all right going, okay, I'm just going to let anybody take it. But what happens if it upsets that household when some of them households have, them tenants have been in there for a while?
So there are challenges that you have to overcome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but what I love what you said though is that I think if you go to work, there's a challenge.
Yeah.
If you waking up is a challenge, but is the reward worth it?
It is worth it.
2.5, like 2,800. I don't know. That's worth it for me.
It's worth it.
You would have bring some of those deals my way.
Oh yeah, let's work on some.
Yeah, let's do so. Right. Okay. So what's the plan then? Like, you told us some strategies. You got rent to rent. You've done service accommodation. What's the next step now for you then? So, you've had some great success in a short amount of time, I should say as well.
Yeah.
Like this is like maybe
13 months.
Like 13 months.
Yeah.
So if you imagine if you started today in 13 months, you would have 2,800 potentially coming in. I think that's a good return. Most people don't earn that in their normal salaries after tax.
Yeah.
So I think that's fantastic. So we applaud you. We applaud you. So what is the plan moving forward now?
So the plan is to take some more lease options on.
Yeah.
So I'm just in the process of securing. Well, I went to see a property with a couple of guys that we're going to JV on.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes JVing is very good.
Yeah.
Because you can bounce off people, especially if your closest don't understand what you're doing and don't understand why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You can't be good at everything. So I'm not good at paperwork. I hate paperwork. So my coffee table at home and my dining table, it's got paperwork, it's got bills, it's got insurance policies on that I think, I'll file that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. Tell me to go out and find a deal. I don't have an issue with actually.
Can you find me a deal?
I'll find you a deal.
I'd like to earn another £2,500 per month working 4 hours. That is my criteria. Okay, you can do that, and the whole room went amen. Everybody in the room was like, yeah. Can you get me some of those, please, too? Yeah, that'd be good. All right. So you're really good at sourcing deals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might as well plug that. Obviously, we have a sourcing business. The area where Sue is an expert on, I don't focus on. But if this is of interest to you, let us know, and we'll definitely put you in contact with Sue. And she's just a queen at doing this. So a little plug there for you. You just want a referral fee. Okay, it's all right. Okay, that was that. If they heard that wasn't meant to hear that bit. That the referral fee. I was doing that out of the goodness of my heart. Okay, it's all right. All right. So the future holds for you now more lease options.
Yep.
Anything else?
With then saving that money to buy an asset.
Oh, perfect.
Which I will then own.
Yeah.
Which will then increase my portfolio from 3 properties to another 2.
Yeah. Perfect.
So I will hit the 10 single lets that I want much quicker than I would. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I've got lease properties that I'm making money on. So what's the point? Yeah. So I can get there quicker. Yeah. And then just waiting for my dividends to come every year.
Love
because
that.
I'm making money. And it's not costing me anything because everything I've put in, I'm getting back now. And I've still got my salary from work.
That's incredible. And the thing is, just on that point, I know a lot of people will say, give up this and give up that and go into properties full time. And I think that, hey, look, more power to you. But if you've got income coming from somewhere, keep that income to invest into properties.
100%, because you can walk away from your job. You might be on you might have a good job of £70,000 a year or £100,000 a year. I survive. My monthly salary is £1,000. I then get a decent dividend.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need to look flash.
Yeah, 100%. Keep it
real. Just be real. Yeah. I don't mind going to Primani and Aldi's.
Yeah. I love Primani. Anyone who's in Birmingham, Primani. Primani, that's right.
It's keeping it real. It's
Primark,
really
for those who
didn't
know.
Isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Do you know the funny thing is, I've always found is people who make, we deal with a lot of investors and they'll have 100,000 in the bank, 150,000 in the bank, and you would not know. Like, prime example, the other day I pulled up and an investor was buying a property of us and he was going to have a look at it and he pulled up in a Skoda, like a Fabia. Like, dude, like you've got like 120,000 in the bank and you pulled up in a Fabia. And I mean, not even like an Octavia, a Fabia. Like if anyone knows that, it's a little one, right? Okay, but you can see his interest is not in looking good. His interest is being financially free.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the right mindset. So look, some interesting things coming up. Sui's partnering with us. I'm going to be doing some stuff, so watch out for that. We're going to be doing like workshops and we're going to be working on what that actually looks like, especially around business as well. Because one of the key things that we said is not just about investing, but learning how to earn money. Okay, so if you can do that in a business, you've got 10 years experience, so we can help some of our clients. So there's
not all of them have been good though.
Yeah, listen, I failed in many businesses. Yeah. Don't worry, I've been there. Okay, so we're going to be doing that. But what I would like to offer one of our listeners, for anyone who comes in, the first person to come back to us, would you give half an hour of free coaching?
100%.
Yeah, about the strategies you've used.
Yep.
Okay, and that cannot come from anybody in this room. Okay, who's like, yo, how can give me half an hour so I can learn how to do £2,500 a month on 4 hours. Okay, so for any one of our listeners, if you come back, doesn't matter if that's from YouTube, you see this video, or from Instagram, or from SoundCloud or iTunes, we will give our first person who come back to us a free coaching session with yourself, and I'll jump on that. Maybe I can add some value somewhere. I don't know.
I'm sure just a little bit.
I don't know. We'll try and do something. But listen, please, Sue, thank you so much for being our guest in our first GENINVEST podcast in the new studio. So thank you so much. Is there any parting words you'd like to have, like words or pearls of wisdom for anyone listening to this podcast right now?
Don't give up.
Love that.
Don't believe that you can't do something.
Yeah.
And be consistent.
Be consistent. Don't give up.
Yeah.
And you one day could have 2,800. Let's say that number again. 2,800 on 4 hours work. I made it sound like an advert. Listen, thank you for listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube. Please subscribe. As I said, we're going to be bringing you these videos every week with different investors. Sue will be joining us as well, bringing more information around property investing. So thank you for joining us. And obviously, if this has been of value to you, please pass this on, because we truly believe that we want everybody to get to financial freedom, because we believe that is possible. So God bless you and see you soon. Bye-bye.